when the new building was opened and the London Emmanuel Choir was here, but what caused the services to have to be done twice was Cliff Richard opened the church and all of his fans rather swamped the auditorium. Having been born in November 1961, I anticipate the first time I attended the church was probably around Christmas 1961.
I started coming to MBC when I was a few months old. I came along with my mum, my dad, my brother and my sister.
I first came to Moordown soon after I was converted, and it was the back end of 1961 or early 1962 as I entered the sixth form at Bournemouth School.
Well, we moved down here in 1961. My husband found the church and then we found a house in the Grove.
My very earliest memory is attending the Sunday school on a Sunday afternoon, walking up the grass that was where the current church stands to a hall at the back of that.
My earliest memory has got to be the Sunday school run by Valerie Christmas together with a Monday night club. On one occasion, Valerie had made up door frames and doors, and it was here that behind the door I was Mrs. Much Too Busy, and I didn't have time to speak to the people who knocked on my door because I was much too busy and I was in curlers and an apron.
The church, of course, wasn't the big building we have now, but the small, what is now the little hall next door. And I think what surprised me most was the numbers of people that attended in the evenings on Sundays. A complete reversal of now.
When we built this, we were all invited to come and sweep up the dirt that was caused by, you can imagine, it was just full of brick dust. And dear little Jordan, who we all know Jordan, he was about 5 then, I think. He was so small, and he brought his little brush, and he's worked so hard. And I could see the dust sort of going up in the air and all over him. And he was doing his best, and he was the youngest one that contributed to the building. I've got a soft spot for him because of that.
The first time I really came to appreciate it was as I went through Sunday school, led by Valerie Christmas back then, and then through the youth group, because I was fortunate there was a large and strong youth group, and that formed my life at the church.
I love the fact that back then you ran through the different ages of creche, Sunday school, Bible study on a Sunday morning. And then also you had a Monday night club. And as you got older, you then were allowed to go to the Friday club. And then on a Sunday evening, you had after church at various people's houses. We were also meeting at school because our fellowship group ranged from here right the way through our school years.
We had an organ in those days, proper pipe organ, not an electronic thing. And music groups were unknown, of course. There were no guitars in churches, no groups, no drums, anything like that. It was either just a plain piano or the plain organ. And I confess that the thing I loved about it was that I still think that that is the best way of leading a congregation, the clearest way and the most enjoyable way.
Well, it was so true to the word was honoured, and the deacons were really profoundly Christian, and there was a lovely family atmosphere.
What I really appreciate now is the strong Bible-based preaching that comes from the platform every week, and also seeing younger families come through the church because they are the future for the next 90 years.
I think that at MBC, we are so blessed to have Jimmy and Johnny's preaching.
MBC's changed tremendously over the years, and in recent times particularly, all for the better. I think we're so blessed with the preaching of the word. That's the most important thing about a church. And I really like now the fact that whoever's preaching preaches to a scriptural text, and particularly in MBC, will go through things in a series, week after week. And I think that's wonderful.
Well, it's always been strong on missionary work, and I do think that's what we're told to do. When Jesus left the earth and went to heaven, he said, "Go and tell all nations what you have learned about me."